So guys, what a week this has been. We've seen ups and we've seen downs, but we've never seen anything like this before. If you've been watching the news, you know what's going on and you know what's developing right now. But let's push all that aside and let's focus on the latest updates, the Robotaxi launch, and the more affordable Model Ys. Over the past months, we've seen glimpses of Tesla self-driving vehicles navigating a variety of real-world scenarios. In a recent video, Tesla showcased newly built cars rolling off of the production line and completing a fully autonomous 1.2-mile route. These vehicles can now drive themselves from the end of the factory line all the way to their assigned loading dock, completely hands-free with no human inputs required. Then in a recent update from Tesla AI, we got a look at the new Model Y currently being used as a Robotaxi. They confirmed that Tesla's full self-driving ride-hailing service is now live for a limited group of employees in both Austin and the San Francisco Bay Area. According to the update, the program has already completed over 1,500 trips and 15,000 miles, helping Tesla test and refine everything from the FSD network to the mobile app to the vehicle dispatch, mission control, and remote assistant tools. Then now, as we get into the month of June, which is the timeline that Tesla had set out to launch this service, and with the rumors of a June 12th rollout in Austin, Texas, we are starting to see a quick ramp up of multiple vehicles driving around the streets completely autonomously. In the recent days, several new Model Y robotaxis have been spotted testing across California. These test vehicles feature TCP markings on the bumper, confirming that they've received official state approval to operate as a paid robotaxi. Spotted by a user on X that goes by Jonathan, he captured and shared multiple photos of these vehicles with TCP markings on the front and the rear bumper, emphasizing that robotaxis are among us and that he caught 6 of them just within a mile radius. Tesla will initially roll out the service with 10 vehicles in the fleet and plans to scale up to 1,000 robotaxis in Austin within the months, targeting San Francisco and Los Angeles expansion by 2026. Furthermore, Elon said that Tesla has been testing fully self-driving Model Ys on public roads in Austin with no one in the driver's seat, and so far there hasn't been any accidents. He mentioned that they're actually running about a month ahead of schedule, adding that by next month, we could see the first car delivered straight from the factory to the customer without anyone behind the steering wheel. Finally, when asked by a user on X going by Owen that if he flies into Austin by the end of June, would himself or anyone else be able to just test out this network, or is it going to be an invite only at first? Elon, of course, gave a very simple but very vague response to this, simply stating sure, and we can only assume that anyone is able to use this network as soon as it launches and is available to the public. So that pretty much summarizes for the Robotaxi segment. This is probably going to be the most exciting part of the month. They're either going to roll it out as a full-on announcement event, which a lot of people in the Tesla community is really excited for, to hop on the plane and get to this location as quickly as it's available, or they could just pretty much launch it anytime, quietly roll it out, and let the public actually see, feel, sit inside of a car and experience it for themselves. I think this is probably the path that they are going to go with. Word's just going to eventually just spread and they are going to download the app and they are going to hop in this car and they are going to be mind blown with what it's able to do. This is going to be like the Waymo 2.0 where you're able to do a ton of different stuff. It's way more flexible, and best of all, the full self-driving unsupervised version is going to unlock this exact same capabilities for all the Teslas that's on the roads today. Now, by this point, when this video drops here, they pretty much have everything set up. They have the entire fleet of 10 vehicles. They have a V14 of the software, and they have the entire playbook of how everything's going to run down, especially with the mobile app, how the pickup and drop-off service is going to be. All we really need right now from them is just when and where this event is going to take place. Alright, now in other news, it looks like the production of both the Model Y and Cybertruck was paused last week at Giga, Texas and Fremont. Brad Sloan, while flying his drone, spotted what appears to be an empty delivery lot. He also pointed out that the framing on the north side building is quickly moving along and could be finished within the week. Then by Friday, both Met the God in the Wilderness and Joe Tagmeyer shared updated drone footages showing the lot of both factories full of vehicles again, ready for shipment. Production now seems to be back on track at high capacity, but with the short pause in the last week, ongoing construction, and the limited info that we have, it's very possible that the downtime was part of them preparing for something new, very likely the low-cost Model Y that is expected to arrive by the end of this month. Then as we move over to the other side of the world, this is where things get really interesting. Over the past few months, we have seen multiple sightings of prototype Model Ys driving around the streets of Mumbai around the same time as when we first started seeing them appear in China. These test vehicles appear to be part of Tesla's effort to enter the Indian market, making sure everything from the hardware to the software is optimized for local conditions and fully compliant with the regional regulations. Out of all the sightings we've seen so far during this period, a few really stood out. One in particular gave us a clear look at the new rear light design, which no longer appears to be a full light bar, but instead just a small section of LEDs. Just this week, a new video from Motorbeam captured two new Model Y prototypes once again testing in Mumbai, India. Both vehicles were wrapped in matte black, featuring updated wheels, and were clearly right-hand drive, but what stood out the most were the subtle changes to the front and the rear. Up front, the camouflage looks like a single continuous wrap stretching from the top of the hood all the way down to the bottom of the bumper. There were no visible gaps, almost as if the wrap went right over the bumper and across the fender brake lines, suggesting something completely new is being hidden underneath. But if you look closely, you notice two small cutouts on the front wrap, one for the headlight at the bottom of the bumper, and another narrow slit for the front light bar to shine through. This could indicate that Tesla is deciding to reduce the footprint of the front light bar, only having the rear corners rather than the centerpiece included. Then as the video continues on and we get a closer look at the rear, the same changes show up once again. The light bar has been scaled back to a smaller segment, now only illuminating the center and at each corner rather than stretching across the entire rear end. Both of these exterior changes are likely part of a broader cost-saving effort aimed at reducing the upfront cost of the vehicle. It also suggests that the upcoming low-cost model may skip the more premium features that we see on the regular Model Ys. Alright guys, so there we have it. With the Robotaxi expected to launch on June the 12th of this month, we're only about a week away. Whether they decide to host it as a full-on event or just quietly roll out, we don't know exactly for sure. So we don't know if buying a plane ticket down to Austin right now is the right thing to do. But one good thing that we do know is that the locals are probably going to be notified of this. They are going to be able to ride in the car, test it out, experience everything, and hopefully they're recording and they post it online for all of us to take a look at. As for the low cost and the more affordable Model Y, however you want to call it, that has a later deadline, so we're probably going to hear more about it by the end of this month, closer to the third quarter. But here, my honest opinion and my honest thought here is that I do have my wishes and I do have my wants versus what the realistic expectations are. I do want it to be cheaper, I do want it to be a better form factor, and I do want it to have all the latest Cybertruck technology, but that's probably not going to happen. We're probably just going to see a stripped down Model Y, and then we're going to have to wait until the end of the year until we hear anything about the next generation low cost unboxed process version of the cars. That's what we're going to be really looking towards, and that's going to be the one that changes everything. Anyways, it's good to be realistic here. We shouldn't be shooting for the stars and then be extremely disappointed down in the ocean. I am going to keep you guys as updated as possible. Whatever goes on, you will hear it here. So I would love it if you stick around and hit that subscribe button and bell notification if you haven't already done so. Follow me on X at HeyJohnE. You're definitely going to see things over there you wouldn't see over here on YouTube. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is John once again. Peace out.